Or you go for like Aatrox, Camille.
Man.
You go for the aggressive pick. You go for the lockdown backline access. And when you have Galio already with Vi, it just becomes so simple. And even if you don't kill the Corki, it doesn't matter. You just kill anyone. And then you have such a front line that the rest of T1 won't be able to compete. And with Orianna in particular, she's more burst-oriented. Her ultimate is really the main part of the fight.
But the Poppy left up and available. This is something that's been banned quite a bit during these playoffs. We'll get through here, will be the final lock-in for Carrier. Not exactly the most lane power that you can get, but still going to be very, very powerful in breaking up these team fights and denying the sort of we're just going to collapse on top of you and hope that you all die style of composition that Gen.G does have.
T1 kind of misread what Gen.G were looking for here. They banned the Aurora. Don't want to lose the top lane. Don't want to take away Doran's ability to get prio there. But instead, Gen.G are like, we're playing for composition here. We're going to get this Camille. We have Camille, Galio, Vi, and Yunara. Team fights are so free for us. And now T1 end up with a Poppy, which feels almost like desperation as a get-out-of-jail-free card for setting up on objectives.
Going to be a tough game to really get the most Keeper's Verdict value. Let's get onto the rift here for game number 1 of this do-or-die best-of-5. Point where Keen can just sort of nuke people by, you know, pressing Q and stuff like that as Chovy. Finding some Winds of War against Faker here.
But this is a nice setup for Gen.G.
Yep, there's the hook shot to come in. Hextech Ultimatum comes down there as well as the public execution tries to come out here as Doran has to flash, but the flash forward from Keen! And this Camille looking for a first blood, although doesn't have a lot of mana, but the Winter's Bite is going to land. Doran in a lot of trouble, but still dashing away. Oh my goodness, just the Ambessa things.
Well, it was a dangerous moment there for Ruler topside. Hits level 6.
Yep, that is going to be the stun onto Carrier. Ruler's still there though and does have a lot of damage. As the flash forward and Ruler will find it, dashes after the Corki, and there is first blood, but it's for the Yunara.
Now, you look at this calculation here from Ruler, knowing he's going to hit 6 off this minion, goes for the dash forward first. That cooldown is bleeding, right? And he goes for this arc here, grabs the slow, forces the flash, gets his dash back at the last possible second. Dashed first, he gets it right at the end. Canyon going to take this prio opportunity to start up grubs, grabs the first one. Any grub you can get for this Camille side lane is going to feel fantastic, and it looks like they might just get all 3.
As the Keeper's Verdict comes out and Ruler is just knocked away, yeah, well, the Braum is just, okay, we've got a little bit more of an engage here towards the bottom side. As now Ruler may immediately get punished, does have the barrier, some sidesteps come through, public execution, and he puts Ruler down. Duro not able to find the Winter's Bite this time. The immediate answer comes on through, and this time around, Ruler not quite as okay as he was indicating in that replay. Just finishes the Sundered Sky, but Canyon already had that one in his back pocket, so feeling pretty good. The Rift Herald now down to about 4,000 as Gumayusi Carrier in the area. A bit of a rotation down. The Keeper's Verdict comes through, but it's immediately buffered by the ulti from Canyon. And the heroic entrance comes down there as well. Justice Punch, fantastic. But the Yunara is dead. They've taken down the Poppy, but that is not enough value. And Keen will be wiped out as well. Doran continues the fight. This guy's Ambessa is absolutely absurd as he picks up the triple. Can it be the Quadra? He's tanking up the turret, and he will allow Ona to pick up the kill, although Chovy may not. So he's just going to get himself out of there, but he is the last man standing. 1.7k gold lead just for himself. And the first Cloud Drake will go over to T1 here.
And he's going to be hitting big spikes early in this game with the gold that Doran just picked up. So they're going to actually look to gank Doran himself.
Yep, looking for a bit of an angle here. Hextech Ultimatum comes down. Public Execution comes in as Carrier is going to evict the Camille. And now it's only Canyon and Duro that are down here underneath this turret. And Doran once again is going to survive.
Doesn't even have to flash in the exchange. Carrier getting huge value out of the Keeper's Verdict there to save the play. Now Owner's here and Duro's left alone.
Yep, he's going to put down the door, tries to flash his way out, but there's a teleport coming in. Ulti from Duro coming on through here, and I think they know that this Braum is dead. Keen still going to go in, but Faker's teleport. Now Keen is in so much trouble. Ruler comes down, protects with a Slurkle. And that is going to be it. Oh, never mind the edge of the shockwave, and it's a double kill for Faker on this Orianna.
Now poised to take this mid turret, are running away with game 1 of the series.
Yep, you've got Chovy now rotating down, but that will be feats of strength. Oh, never mind. Gen.G did lock down feats of strength by taking the top outer turret while we were speaking. And Cloud Drake, this would be sole point for T1 if they're able to lock this one down, and it has been started already. Full information over to Gen.G, but what can they do about it is going to be the question.
They just have to give it up. And it will be just a scuttle crab in exchange here for Gen.G. Give it to Ruler, he picks up 100 gold off of that. And starting Otacon is a risky endeavor, but they're going to try it. They're going to try to pull T1 in. They are going to get Faker's teleport for this.
Yeah, that's what they're looking for here, I guess, is the teleport is going to come on through. Keen finds the hookshot angle. There's a Hextech ultimatum. He delivers the gargoyle on top. Gumayusi taken down immediately. Now Kerry is going to turn up as owner with that Crescent Guard, is looking for Keen and will be able to find him. It's a 1-for-1 AD carry for top lane, but T1 still looking for more in the 4v4. Carrier dives forward, but Duro's able to get himself out of there with all of his summoner spells. And I don't know whether this works for Gen.G. So this Otacon is it just belongs to T1.
Maybe even turn it into a Baron. Oh no, Duro!
Yeah, Duro's gonna get caught out, not stunned up by the heroic charge. That is a big deal. Ruler was there with Slurkle support. Keen looking to rotate up. And they have vision that this dragon is not being taken. This is going to need to be a turn from Gen.G. As Keen, he's just going to walk over here and look to start this one up as T1 just searching for where Gen.G went. This little runaround, this do-si-do that Gen.G did will be able to deny the soul.
That was
very
a really
cute.
high-value blue trinket here that actually identified that Doran got off the dragon. They then scried where he was and came over here while pulling T1 to the Baron. And the turn off of Baron is kind of awkward for T1. It's going to be so reliant. Oh,
yeah. Public execution comes down. The flash forward from Keen, and Doran gets over the wall, but Keen follows him with the ulti. Canyon comes down, but I think this would have been a solo kill for the Camille, and I'm pretty sure she's online, but the jungler was in the bottom lane.
And that means they just have to hard send it in the bottom lane and try to get as many turrets as they can. They're going for mid first, and they're going to try to get that bottom outer as well.
Yep, the Baron comes up. The catch from the ulti out of Duro is fantastic, but the rest of the cavalry are turning up, and the outer turret is still getting worked on. Faker's still alive. Down goes Canyon as Chovy's heroic entrance doesn't look exactly like that, but Keen is still a monster. The Crescent Guard comes in from owner, but he still goes down. Double taunt from Chovy, and the Winds of War will be able to take another one down from the grave. Faker is going to be able to shut him out, but Gen.G get rid of so many Barons.
It's only Guma's Baron that remains. They make the call to not push for that bottom inner turret.
It looks like T1 want to find themselves a fight as Keen is off on the side, that GA in hand. The double siege minions are looking difficult for Gen.G to do anything about, as Canyon charging that Vault Breaker. The engaged Braum comes in from Duro as they're looking to split these fights, but Canyon is so difficult to deal with. Doran getting into that backline though, as now Ruler's doing his best to kite him out, and the public execution is ignorable, and now Chovy finds 3. Justice for Owner as it's a double for Canyon, and the Gen.G freight train is burning down the bottom lane as Ruler picks up his 3,000th assist, and I have a feeling the Camille scaled in this game.
I think so. Down goes Guma. It's the full clean ace of T1. They're constantly trying to put controllers in it, but just feeding them to Gen.G as they're cleared out repeatedly. This means Faker just doesn't have any agency. And I think that T1 are just going to have to give this up.
What is the Galio poke? What the heck was that about?
Big damage.
It's actually doing a fair bit of work here as Keen finds the angle. He gets on top of Owner, but it's Ruler's damage that we need to be wary of. And he takes down Doran. The Crescent Guard comes in, but Chovy just says, no, you're not allowed to engage. Duro and Canyon dealing with Owner off to the side, and the rest of the fight is going to be there as Keen gets out of the way of Faker, and Faker will overextend, unfortunately. Chovy able to take that one down. Steadfast presence just doesn't feel very steadfast at this stage of the game, and Gen.G just think, nah, it's not really about the Dragon when we can kill a Nexus and take game 1.
I think the eyes were for Dragon. T1 get caught by the Keen flank, and their eyes are now for Nexus. Is Keen so far behind this game? How many games is this guy going to be? Like, remember his game was 1-4 on Gwen, and just pops off later. This guy is taken over.
Well, Carrier now trying to be a hero, but that charge ain't going to work. Guma just dies in the blink of an eye, and the Nexus will explode. Gen.G looked. They gave up so much in this game. They looked down and out, and are able to turn it around and pick up game 1 in this best of 5. And if all the games are like this, I might die.
These moments just bought Gen.G enough time for Ruler to become the Fountain Laser, the god tier damage that Zendara can be, and I think T1 will probably regret giving that one over now. Early in the draft is a little bit scary. I was straight up going to mention I see the hover. It makes me very nervous as we have not seen this pick find success. I like Annie a lot more, but I'm still going to play Annie Kiana.
Annie Kiana sounds,
setup.
Yeah, that sounds pretty scary. And some of the issues that we've seen with the LCK Kiana is landing ultimates. It's easier to land them if your target's already stunned. So I'm expecting Leona.
Yeah.
Because there's an MF. So they are just going to lock that one in. It is going to be, like, if this Gen.G composition gets rolling, it is very scary, especially with the fact that you tag anyone, then Jin locks them down, and then you can find these picks one after the other. The follow-up that they have with this Kiana is high. The problem is, Kiana doesn't win, like, ever.
I'm probably going to get a little bit deeper into that when we get into the game itself, because this is just draft versus draft here. But at this point for Gen.G, I think you really need to snowball this game early, and the Kiana needs to be a massive threat for the entirety of the game. With the cost of her 2 items reduced massively, you know, she does spike quite early, and she can win those early skirmishes quite well, especially when you're playing into an MF, if you can get that access.
It is so incredibly good at winning, and on the other side, it's the Kiana. It hasn't won yet here in the LCK. Let's get onto the Rift.
Phenomenal ult. They split the team in half. And those are the kind of scrappy fights you don't get too often in the LCK, so it's hard to generate a lead. Zoner is
the level
3 Jarvan.
That's a bit scary. How about Pulv does bring Carrier in there as we started off the fight. Gen.G get the information, but I don't know whether it's going to be enough as the flash out from Duro. The flash forward, the sidestep is not good enough, and that is first blood. The Jarvan just gets it done every game.
Canyon going to go over here with the ward he has and actually start to steal some of these camps away. This is a great way to play the Kiana. It's just hard farm. Don't interact with lanes.
Oh, God.
Not again.
Bottom lane getting absolutely punished. The teleport in from Faker towards his bottom side. As Gumayusi does have to flash, as Deadly Flourish will be avoided. The fourth shot not going to be enough, and he just reloads at him and dies.
At the end of the day, Doran's still going to put some pressure on him here, and is actually looking to heal up a little bit and continue to do so. No jungler to impact this bottom lane. As we trade again, Doran.
It does feel like Doran has to work so much harder to do stuff.
It really does, and I think that's 100% accurate. But he's trying to get cookies out.
He is still doing stuff.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. As the Roar of the Slayer does come on down, Canyon moving in as the flash comes out. The flash to follow, but Canyon misses the stun.
So to Canyon being able to pick up this first dragon here on the bottom side of the map. See, Owner is rotating around here, grabbed first grub, and is now actually looking to try to take Ruler out of the picture here. Has Cataclysm.
Yep, Carrier is going to ult early, picks up the aggro, and the barrier not quite going to be enough there, as there are feats of warfare picked up, as Faker in a little bit of trouble here, trying to rotate up to help out, as Molten Shield from Trovy comes in. Oh, the final auto is not enough to lock down the kill. He was almost a cool guy not looking at an explosion, but instead, there was no explosion. Yeah. And Ruler tried to go for the invisible Deadly Flourish. Doesn't quite work out there. As Doran, this time with no flash, and he is just dead. That was a supreme display of nothing that he could have done about it.
In this game.
As there's the Cataclysm onto Chovy. Remember, he used that flash earlier on. He's trying to get Tibbers to get some value here, but it's just not going to work out. That's a very strong Jarvan to take down the Annie. Canyon a little bit slow, picking this one up. They'll take themselves the plate, and Canyon will be able to clear out these minions, because he can just press R on you.
Again!
As, yeah, another bear comes down and another knock-up comes on through here from Owner as Chovy. Just free food for Faker.
They have full prio, but a bit of a whiff.
Another bear comes down here as the Rune Prison comes on in. Owner moving back though, so Canyon is going to back away. Some Spell Flux connects, but otherwise not too much more. The Flash 4, and it's going to be the bear coming down. Faker will be punished as Carrier comes on through. Owner just gets out of there though, protecting that shutdown gold. And Carrier is going to have to flash, but I just don't know whether that's going to be enough as he's running, and that is going to be able to get him to
Canyon, of course, starts this dragon up. Owner does have flash and could look for a steal potential here. Duro's holding the gate, though, not allowing him to get in. Guma comes over, really greedy here.
Yep, that is going to be the dragon coming on through. No Xanth Blade to land here from Duro, who is a bit far up, but it isn't going to be too much of an issue.
You want to set up for this Herald now.
And this is going to be a difficult one for Gen.G to contest. Deadly Flourish onto Carrier, but he's not too worried about that. Has the Unbreakable Will, as now Canyon looking for an angle. He's getting in amongst it. The curtains have been called as he flashes out of the way of the Cataclysm. Duro going down very low. Gumayusi doing so much work. T1's health bars are getting lower. Keen right in amongst it, but Chovy not quite doing enough. Ruler just getting soloed out by Doran, and he will be able to finish that one off. Chovy in the back of the pit is just dead to the bullets of Guma, and T1 are just running the rift outside of Keen, being quite frustrating, but he'll be zombified and taken out himself. A monstrous win here for T1.
Jarvan said he's got, tons of mobility, great CC. Now, as Sundered's guys had it for a long time, and Owner is super fed in this game, and they're going to get this mid turret. T1's third turret of the game.
Man, look at all those Banelings. It's a lot of devastation here being provided by T1. 5,000 gold is the lead as Carrier is going to interrupt a Q. That was pretty cute. Gets a headbutt onto Keen here at the same time, who does ult to get himself out of the way. Carrier taking a fair bit of damage, but it's another charge from Shelly.
A little bit more high value. Is Kiana 1v1?
Yep, I'm not against Doran. That is not going to work as he does break the chains this time around. But yeah, Doran is so scary on this Aatrox right now. Level 12. And 2-1-0. He's got a little bit of a gold advantage against the Scion now as well, as Duro is dead. Fake of Realm Warps in, but it is just going to be the kill going over to Owner. And the flash is going to come on through. Double teleports invested as Owner is going to find Canyon here. There's the headbutt over the wall. Ruler in so much trouble. Deadly Flourish goes wide, and he is just dead, ladies and gentlemen. It looked like it was going to be a play from Gen.G, but T1 just turned it on its head.
As it looks like initially like, oh, Faker's caught, but this is the traditional Faker overextending question mark. Haha, now we win the fight, we baited you in.
Triple TP, everyone teleporting into the fight, and Carrier just takes the 80 carry.
As they give Otacon up, they're going to get the Constellation turret here. They're scaling.
They will be losing this inner turret towards the top side of the map, so I don't see it necessarily being a phenomenal outcome.
It's not.
Gumayusi does take this.
It's not losing the game outright by trying to fight on Otacon, so keeps them in this game, and we'll probably build Zhonya's third.
Yeah, he needs the follow-up, absolutely. As all of Gen.G are grouped up, let's see whether they can actually find a target. His Owner off to the side has been spotted. Keen tanking for a long time, though, and he's not going to be starting any fights at all. Cataclysm comes down. Owner just flashes out of the way of it. It's a lot of burst damage here from the Annie, but not full commitment. And Doran turns up and says, "No! You are not allowed to fight," and they agree.
The vision for Gen.G, they can see like nothing outside of the base except Canyon dying. That's what they can see.
Canyon is the bullet. Oh, that was pretty cute. Getting the zoom in there as well, as Canyon is very close to dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's an understandable Yuumi.
Perfect.
That's what I'm learning here today.
Duro.
As Duro's going to face check, he has to be the one to do so, and unfortunately, he's dead. Very dead. So it's doing a lot of winning in the LPL, right? Like we know that it can win.
Okay, this is...
Oh dear, never mind. Maybe they will go in. There's the Zenith Blade from Duro. He didn't really want to be there, and Owner is going to be able to take him down. The Supreme Display of Talent is decent, but not quite good enough, as down goes Tibbers as well. Chovy doing battle against Faker here, who flashes to pick up the kill on his opponent mid laner. And now Keen finds his way into the fight, and he's going to take the death exit this time around after being a zombie for just a little while. And the curtains are not being called for Ruler. I think they will actually be called for Ruler, as now Owner is going to be making his way over and looking to try and take him down. The Realm Warp comes in. The Flag and Drag doesn't do too much of anything as the Aatrox delivery comes on through. And Gumayushi's like, guys, why don't we just win the game?
They're helping and keeping the players from going back so they can win the game. That's what's happening. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's a little bit of
Doran
something like that.
Up.
As they're doing their very best to kite Doran around here, who doesn't actually get the heal from the Redemption, as Canyon looking to block off the next two that are making their way over. Deadly Flourish is decent here, as this is some yakety sacks coming on through here, as Canyon trying to get himself out. They have regrouped though, and in comes the cow! Carrier going to be able to deliver a double kill over to Gumayusi, and that was a weird little passage of play, but ultimately it's going to be even more winning for T1, as it's given players like Duro the opportunity to respawn before they win this game.
It almost feels like a psychological warfare move here from T1, as they just smash them over and over again before the Nexus falls.
Yeah.
And Atlas, we knew we would, but we have a series on our hands now.
It was already all over our hands after game number one, and it is now being confirmed as T1 will make this one a best of 3. 3. Game 2, Owner on Jarvan. We saw it last time out. Gen.G, I reckon, will be sweating after that performance. A real bounce back here from T1.
Or Gen.G had to go check, and Duro kept checking, kept dying, and Doran does a ton of damage in this game. It felt like Doran in teamfights could just pick a target and chase them away and or kill them every single time.
Yeah, and it also just shows what happens when you've got the AD carry that's getting all of the work done.
Karma, a little bit more reliable, a little bit more common. And hard push.
Yep, we've seen the Civ Karma so many times.
For the Xayah, you're playing into Shov's Wukong Ultimate Counter-Strike, so you don't need an engaged support here as T1. You already have all of that front line. This gives you kind of a guaranteed answer to the Nico in the bottom lane. And Gen.G's draft has a lot of pick potential and a lot of front line with this Gwen, so the Xayah can come online. But I think you, once again, kind of have to control the game from start to finish. Otherwise, the Sivir scaling kind of gets out of control. They also have the global of the Taliyah, so they can play with this Sivir's wave clear really well. Try to charm her. She might just block it. It's going to be a tough time here for Gen.G, but definitely a playable draft.
It certainly is. Jump into the Rift here for game number 3. Especially with Gwen in the position that she is now. This used to be a matchup that we saw quite often when Gwen was a whole lot stronger than she is now. So it could be more difficult for Keen to navigate as Doran hits that level 2. Leap strikes in. Stun does go down, but he gets into the brush in time. So I think Keen might be all right.
Doran.
Another leap strike. Man, Doran is really putting the hurt onto Keen here in this early laning phase.
Now having this wave pushing over. Faker does have his ult, and they could look for a play. Keen potentially caught.
Yep, there's the counter-strike. It's actually going to get the value here as the seismic shove pushes him back. No flash available, and there's first blood going over to Doran's Jax. Yeah, Ruler in a little bit of trouble here. Does have Featherstorm, but does not want to use it in the 1v1 against Doran.
Has flash and his ult's back up. Like, that was very scary.
Yeah.
And they get the dragon.
Yeah, he is going to be able to spot that there is a monkey in the area. Doran is taking a bit of damage, though, as he does get himself out, but that is plates guaranteed.
400 gold lead, and I think Gen.G really want to be ahead in this game quite significantly at this stage, and they're not.
Yeah, nice little charm is going to connect onto Faker here, but he's throwing a whole lot of rocks around. Actually flashes to get out of the way of this Grand Starfall from Canyon, and they look for the dive. There's the flash stun, and they lock down the kill. Still, Canyon is going to be taken out, so a 1-for-1 from the GOAT outside of the top outer turret.
Just very impressive from Faker.
Yep. It's always good to appreciate. As Canyon is going to face check and isn't feeling fantastic about it. On the hunt is Gumayusi as Ruler going to rotate over, but it's mainly just to watch this Pantheon die. Towards the mid game here now.
These wards, this setup here, like assuming the ward was the reason why Faker was able to react that quickly with so high value, then they spot him and take him out again. As now Faker's looking for a Weaver's Wall.
Yeah, Ruler might need to ult here as the seismic shove is going to pick him up. Let's see whether the Pop Blossom is going to come on through. There it is. Duro going to have to flash out of the way though. The rocks go wide, but still, that is double ultis on cooldown.
Plus
as well
flash.
As a flash for this Nico. Just getting zoned away here momentarily. Needlework comes out as Faker throws an entire volley at Keen. Does have to flash.
I think we have to acknowledge that, but otherwise he's a man possessed today.
Yeah. And Doran going to look for a little bit of an angle here. Gets the ulti out of Chovy. Actually a big deal, as he's not going to be resetting in any fights coming on up, as Double Dragon being considered here by T1. Early game has belonged to them, as Doran going to get stunned up, does flash away, but it looks like it's going to be this turret going on over to Gen.G.
There's 2 turrets under threat here for Gen.G at the same time. We won't see Faker commit for this one, but the Herald dropped in mid with this wave here. It should just be a trade of turrets. Doran does lose his flash, but it's not really a trade up for Gen.G in the...
Oh dear.
And this is going to be a collapse for sure.
Yeah, there's a Rift Herald on our way down here, as Faker is going to try and shove Keen. It doesn't quite work out here, as the Rift Herald is just going to bypass. They pick up the turret, and now the Cyclone on top of the Gwen. No way for him to get out of that, and that is just Owner once again taking control here in Game 3. Did see Owner get back into that Rift Herald, so it's likely that he was heading somewhere down, as he's looking to do the play one more time. This time without the Cyclone, but we'll see whether that actually matters as the Weaver's Wall comes down. Charm is going to miss, and Chovy has to eat so many rocks and has to flash, as now the turnaround potentially coming in here as Keen looking for the angle, wanting revenge onto this Taliyah. As the needlework comes out, Chovy finds the charm, as Gumayusi finds himself so far away from the rest of his team, but maybe that's part of the play as they go 2-for-1. Blame him, because I would have also been a little bit confused.
It was bizarre, but I think it was definitely a great call from T1 as Canyon maybe caught again. He's rooted.
Yeah. Let's see whether he can get himself out of this one as the Cyclone does come in there from Ona. Looks for the angle, but Canyon is able to flash his way to safety. Ruler now in an awkward position as Faker is teleported in, trying to get these feathers down. As Doran also rotating around from that top side. Arakan has just spawned, which is why we're getting a bit antsy, I could imagine, on this Rift right now. Yep, Ona's going to be moving in. I mean, T1 have full information as to what's going on here, and Keen's already down to 50% health. Ruler trying to get some damage down. Gen.G are going to be looking for the turn as Ona moves on over, and now Chovy looking for the angle. Pop Blossom connects, finds only one as Faker flashes his way out. Doran avoids all of the feathers so beautifully, and it's the Nico that goes down first. The Wukong steals away the Otacon. Of course Ona does. The man's playing like a beast today. Keen does manage to find the value, and now it's Ruler's turn to pop off as Canyon trying to run his way out. The seismic shove doesn't find the angle, but he still jumps onto a rock as Doran's so scary. Finds the Empower, takes down the Pantheon, and it's Chovy and Ruler left alive in the end, but the Otacon goes to T1.
This looks like what the Legend Group games all looked like for so much of rounds 3 to 5, where if you get a small lead, you just take over the game. Down an item as the AD carry into the Featherstorm Meat Grinder. You're in trouble. Chovy may be in trouble.
Yeah, unfortunately not going to be able to find the charm onto Faker here, and does have to flash. Oh, Chovy off on a flank angle. Does get the Warrior Trickster out of Ona, but it's not a massive cooldown. Seismic Shove going to go wide this time. Canyon able to walk that one off. Gen.G with control of the river for the moment as Doran gets charmed up. But there's the Cyclone. Into the backline goes Ona, but he's kind of alone and hasn't really used his ultimate for much. Does flash to get himself to safety. As in goes Doran now. He will go golden, but this is so disjointed, and Keen is going to get on top of Gumayusi. Goes golden himself by so much space, but where's the follow-up? Keen just runs and will get shoved back towards Faker and takes a huge rock. That is going to be the dragon secured with the feather pullback, and now I think Doran may eventually die, although no, he doesn't. He has leap strike, so he's just fine. Yeah, Chovy going to be moving over here as well as Faker finds the rocks. Man, that reaction is absurd.
Faker is telepathic today.
Yeah, seriously, and can now play a whole lot more aggressively with that extra shield, with the extra lifesteal, but that is going to be a phenomenal shove. Chovy has to go golden at the beginning of this fight as now Doran looking for the angle, tries to get the counter strike, but they take down Chovy. That's the biggest part of it. Faker gets into the back line. Duro just melting so incredibly quickly. King goes golden, but I don't think he's surviving for much longer, and Ona will finish off the Gwen. The entire top side are destroyed. Ruler and Duro not knowing what to do next as they destroy the team fight.
It's a smash win in the team fight for T1. The shoves from Faker, the Talia has just been out of control this game, and now just a lone bot duo trying to defend against this massive push from T1 to bring themselves to match point.
Let's see whether they can actually finish it here as Doran going in, flashes forward to get on top of Ruler, and of course the seismic shove there. This game is over, ladies and gentlemen, and T1 have match point now for the next 2 games at least.
I feel like we might have an upset on our hands here with T1 looking like they are the stronger team here.
Oh my God.
And the gold lead the entire game.
And the thing is, I think if you base it off what we saw in the performance from both of these teams in their last best of 5, I don't think it's an upset at all. But we weren't expecting Gen.G to look that bad again. Faker,
pick Silas?
First pick Silas, okay.
I mean, it's a flex pick.
I wanted to talk about Faker playing really well, but now we've got a Silas first. Blitzcrank is going to come on through. This is one of his best champions.
I mean, I think, what else do you play here? Skarner makes a lot more sense, but it is a big ultimate to steal away.
Oh man, Chovy's gonna need so much damage as the Rek'Sai consideration. That's likely to go over to Doran, as we saw Zeus playing that one yesterday.
Oh, Kassadin!
No, surely not. You don't blind Kassadin, that's insanity. But maybe Chovy picks Kassadin. It has been picked into TF in the past, and he is going to hover it here. Let's see whether it is going to be the decision made. It is a very difficult one, as Cassiopeia going to give him a little bit more power earlier on.
I kind of like the Cassiopeia. It's all in on their draft identity of low-range brawly, but when you're looking at the draft here from T1, sure, the Varus has a lot of range, but you can just simply overwhelm him with all the frontline you have, even if you catch, you know, the Rek'Sai or a Silas with the Blitzcrank hook. You have all that low-range damage. You just delete that target so quickly, and then you just overwhelm the rest of T1. Because we were looking otherwise like the Kassadin, but it feels so risky in the early game. The Aurelion Soul I mentioned is really not going to give you a lot of team fighting power until much later on in the game, whereas this Cassiopeia can kind of be stable, and then you can get to the later parts.
But it's largely been a jungler in more recent memory. Just kind of a masterstroke here by T1 as we get onto the Rift here for game number 4. Isn't really a bottom lane. So that is not necessarily going to be winning into double range, especially.
Yeah, if you don't hit hooks, you do literally nothing, but you can just kind of catch the waves, and Doran is once again the target.
Yeah, Canyon going to look to see if he can throw a rock at him, as Doran is just traveling through all of these tunnels. At the same time, Carrier looking a little worse for wear as T1 looking to take down the Keen Sante, and that is going to be first blood over to Ona, and he should be able to survive. In the meantime, trying to get back through yet another tunnel, and Doran is just making them look silly, getting so much of the health back as well as he tunnels underground. Another tunnel going to be used. Man, he's like a kid playing on an elevator as finally he gets slammed into the wall and taken down, but he's claimed so many flashes and made them look silly.
Yeah, he made them.
As Doran, let's see whether he can survive this as the tunnel comes on through. Duro still looking for the hook and manages to get him yet again. But I just don't know whether it's quite going to be enough because he gets underneath the turret. Will the Ren stacks come through? And yes, they will. Duro survives.
Cassiopeia can scale into a big damage threat later on, especially with this composition as, Chovy may get caught.
Yeah, Destiny does come in. Miasma is down. Good position there as well as Faker is just going to get picked up and taken down, but it is a counter ult here from Ona. Still the Fate's call to keep Duro safe. The flash over from Chovy. There's that killer instinct we've been looking for. And it's 2 on the floor for T1. Gen.G looking for even more as the blast cone from Canyon picks up a rock, and Carrier finds himself in a very awkward spot. Ruler able to find it, and that is another hook landing here from Duro. Ruler just lets Carrier melt as that bailout does not work. A really great start here for Gen.G this time. And so we'll just have to see whether Ruler can find the same level of success as the flash does have to be used here by Gumayusi.
I think with the low range comp you're into, you just want to be able to get through these tanky frontliners, the Cassante and the Skarner. It does make sense because Lethality isn't going to get you much into those targets, and if you're trying to hit a Cassiopeia, you're going to have to follow up with damage that they don't necessarily have, as Owner is here.
There's the all-out. Keen going to use that to try and actually go all-out as he dashes, flashes, and is able to make a lot of distance. Doran finds himself in an awkward spot. Have his flash available, so it's a bit of a scary one. Is the hook going to connect? Duro! Oh, man, this young player playing very well, but it's a great handshake here from Carrier, just not enough to deal with the Impale, and this Renata pick-away is being punished. To snowball this one through. Of course, 13.5 minutes, only 1,500 gold as the Destiny comes on through here. Canyon in a lot of trouble as he flashes over the wall. The Impale going to be avoided as Keen looking to try and duel Doran here, but it's a lot of damage out from Guma to help the Rek'Sai pick up the kill. And the flash hook! And it's going to be both of these top laners going down. The bailout not quite going to work here as the Impale comes through at the same time. Gumayusi is on the warpath, but so is Chovy. Finds the overextended Varus, and now it's Ona throwing chains around, but they are not going to do anything. And the counterpunch from Gen.G just a bit better. As Canyon going to drive on in, gets himself over the wall. It will be a 50-50, but it's Ona that wins it. Duro still hunting, looking for a bit of a target. Hostile takeover comes in as Ona goes golden. Keen right in amongst it. The double knock-up from Doran's fantastic. He's being bailed out as well as Keen somehow survives. There is no way that he should be allowed to do that, and down goes Ona. Once again, every team fight is just Gen.G all the way.
Yeah, this is going to go over to Gen.G. They cannot find a hook angle here, though.
Yeah, the Destiny is going to come down. They're going to look for Canyon, or at least look to tell him to leave, as he gets a fair bit of rock value. Oh, the hook onto Faker! Duro finds another one! And the attempted bailouts, but it's just too expensive. He's not leaving the police station this time.
Angle here from Duro. Watch this.
Yep. Oh my.
He's like, I got him. And like the angle made it almost look like he missed, but he's just gets him there just on the edge. And then they get slow from the Q here from the Skarner, Canyon. And Chovy, is he caught or is he killing him?
He's killing him and caught. He's both. He's doing it. He's poisoned both of them. Doran is dealing with so many of these minions. Canyon's making his way over. Scorpion and Snake, they're both very scary. And they are just going to leave. So thankfully, if you do find yourself face to face with a Snake or a Scorpion, walk away. How does he do this?
He will be 3 levels ahead. Okay, now will he be caught by this TP?
And will this TP be enough? As now Faker trying to get on top of him. Duro is in position as Keen teleports in as well. The flash out of the way, the hostile takeover, and Gen.G not going to be losing their mid laner in this instance, but they do manage to get the ult and the flash.
Well, there's a Blitzcrank lurking somewhere, looking to kill whoever checks. That checker
and no one
Keria.
can check.
Yeah, exactly. It's Keria on Renata. He's like, I'm so scared. Duro's like, I'm waiting for you.
Yep.
Here you are.
There he is, special delivery, and he will get some extra time with the bailout, but not very much. Chains of Corruption come in. That is an attempted steal opportunity here, but just slammed against the wall. The Otacon getting amongst it at the same time, and that is going to be Otacon secured by Canyon. He gets a casual kill at the same time. Double over to Ruler, and now Faker finds the gold card. Hook is going to miss, but the Twisted Fate surviving does not help. The T1 fans feel better about this game.
For T1 as Gen.G look to set up.
Oh my, another one! Duro, it's okay. From now on, every single game, teams, they need to ban Blitzcrank. He hasn't even been prioritizing this champion. He's so good at it.
Match point on the line, LCK finals on the line.
Well, Duro's going to get a flash as he wanders on over. Chovy going to get ganked by multiple people. Petrifying gazes all over the place. But Gumayusi gets the shutdown, and an important one at that. 1,100 gold.
Plus
they will trade their inhibitor turret for it.
Yeah, no inhibitor to go down, but the inhibitor turret does fall. T1 get the kill and the shutdown, but not that gold.
Can Canyon be damaged? Okay, maybe he can now as the Destiny coming in on top of everything. Gumayusi starting to get some shots over as Canyon just drives his way out. Gumayusi still hunting for it. He flashes into the enemy base, gets impaled. Now he's in turret range. Duro comes over and Canyon, yeah, he's a tank. Really, not enough. As Duro, he can be damaged. Gold card going to connect, but it looks like they're a little bit afraid of what could be lurking in the dark.
By the way, if there was going to be a contest, which there wouldn't be, you have to fight through Ren stacks and Smite. Now it's just Duro hooking whoever he wants, and it doesn't matter. They won the early game. That Varus is not online, as we saw in the base.
Canyon almost okay, just finds the impale onto Gumayusi somehow! And obviously he's going to survive with over a third health. Yes, reading the room. I'm going to try and read the room as well.
I'm like, you and I wanted game 5, and we get our wish.
Yes.
But this has been his best game we've seen in playoffs.
Yeah,
He's
and
19 out of 20.
Oh God, another hook. And it even caught Jonas Strong by surprise as Doran just goes down. Ona now dancing around behind the Baron pit, but Keen, he's a bouncer. He's going to try and stop him. Ona might be able to get in, but it's not going to be the steal. It's somehow Cassiopeia that actually gets it as the hook finally won. I see it miss. Good sidestep there from Carrier. Doesn't matter, no. He's still dead. He's going to buy a bit of time. That was such a cute flash. Such a cute flash. As Canyon going to pick up Faker, throw some rocks at him. Ruler looking to bounce his way over. And will be able to get in range. The Blast Cone is going to be able to buy a little bit of extra space.
Carrier is still running away, by the way, in the top.
Oh, okay. Well, Keen will find him. So there we go. Bought some time. This whole game is just Duro. This guy on this Blitzcrank, just incredible. I think that Canyon has come back alive. Chovy's come back alive, but Duro is just a man possessed on this robot. Let's see whether he can find another hook as they do get the knock up onto Ruler. Take him down immediately. The Impale is only onto one. Chovy still there for the DPS, but T1 finding kill after kill as Chovy, oh, the handshake is fantastic. Owner is going to get taken down, but they take out the Cassiopeia. Can Canyon be damaged? Is still a question that we're all asking, and Gumayusi, he might be able to answer it. He does have the bailout, and as it turns out, no, he cannot be damaged. Canyon is immortal. He finds more rocks, and now he's just gonna get to work, trying to use this lawnmower to take down Faker, not the Nexus. All 3 of them weren't enough, and the Scorpion will bring us to Silver Scrapes.
Canyon's got a heart of steel at the end of this game.
That is the Canyon that we have wanted to see all playoffs and haven't really at all. Gumayusi did a lot of damage
to a Skarner that he could not hurt, but number went up, but health bar did not go down for Canyon.
22k on a Skarner is...
That looks like old Skarner before they nerfed his Q damage. And it's going to be Ziggs to be hovered first.
Oh my, the Ziggs
If you
first
told me
pick.
that T1 would first pick Ziggs this year, I would have laughed.
Wow. Yeah. As Mel is being hovered.
I mean, this is a pretty strong scaling pick, and with all the squishy champions on the side of T1 and the front line you have, you can just pop people. But he'll play Vex!
All right, it's been a while. The Vex is going to be locked in here for Chovy. This is a champion that he's really enjoyed in the past.
Man, Gen.G love their all-in drafts in the second half of the series, don't they?
Yeah.
So, I mean, for those who don't know, because we haven't seen Vex in a long time, she has a fear in her kit, but the main way she's going to be played in a draft like this with the Nocturne and the Lucian is trying to blow up a single target with her ult and Canyon's ult. They should be able to find, if her ultimate hits, the target, then blow it up with the Lucian follow-up. They have the Ornn as well. But there's so many damage threats here on the side of T1, and if you commit in, there is no cancel button in this draft for Gen.G.
The Ornn Horn plus the quickness can really get some work done. Man, these are some fun Game 5 drafts. Let's get onto the Rift here. Game number 5. Onto the Rift for the final game of this series. Inspire Arena or go home, and then you have to play in the play-ins against the LPL 4th seed. Both of these teams will be at Worlds, but one of them may only be there for one series.
Yeah, so Keen can continue to be relevant about Guma hitting his bombs, and we can weave in autos, especially with his empowered passive, to see how much damage he can get done. Let's move on. So, yeah, this is a bad matchup for Yone.
Faker is in a little bit of trouble, but he is up a teleport, so actually just good use of health bar.
Yeah. Chovy may stop this back, however. Not quite with the cooldown, as Faker actually decides to stay, because teleport takes so long. You don't just get that wave for free. Nice dodge here from Faker.
Yeah, it wasn't a cannon wave, so he couldn't actually buy the extra time, but it still feels dangerous.
I mean, now he's just going to lose a plate as well.
So the Ornn into the Jace is working for him as he finds the ulti onto Doran as well.
Chovy did get a extra back off during all of that. Now the wave is pushing towards him as Doran is caught.
This is not where he really wanted to go for the honey fruit, and Chovy is right in position. Doesn't quite find the Q, and does find the ulti to pick up the kill there. Chovy.
Yeah, stop that brittle proc.
Yeah.
Canyon's going to get this dragon, but it's going to be an exchange here, 1-for-1 with the Grubs. It's going to be a lot of tension, and it starts now.
Paranoia comes down. The Nature's Grasp does come on through, but it is so much damage onto the Lilia, and she just gets obliterated. Keria now finding himself in an awkward spot as Chovy flashes over to pick up the feats of warfare. And even there's trains coming into the top side of the map. Doran to try and boop Keen away. Keen just trying to have fun like the rest of his friends on this map, but he's a top laner in the end.
And so with those 3 Grubs, they're going to get the whole turret!
Okay, there is just first turret. This is what Ziggs is supposed to do.
Yeah.
Somewhere, Orcs is like, oh man, Guma gets it.
This is my favorite type of draft disparity, is we're going to see another attempt to get Keen here, just thwarted by a rotation up. He's going to try to turn this around.
Yep, looking for the train. They will be able to knock up Doran, but the Nature is grasping. Knocked back. Great satchel there from Gumayushi, but the quickness is so good as well. Chovy over to the top, and it is going to be the Drake being taken by Canyon, and somehow all of Gen.G does survive. Keen just a bit too tanky.
And just a 5-man attempt here by T1 on the top side of the map means Gen.G get the dragon for free. The defense is there. The turret is still quite strong at this point. So many low health bars there for T1. One playing defense, the other is just constantly on the attack. And Gen.G, if they're going to not let this Herald go over, they are going to have to be on set attack right now.
Yeah, they don't have the quickness though. Duro missing that ability to engage, and it does look like T1 should be able to grab this, and there it goes.
T1 can offer Gen.G. Gen.G have to kind of play around that very defensively as, okay, Faker potentially collapsed on.
Let's see what Gen.G can actually get done here as he does bring back the soul, but there's the paranoia. The fear comes on through. Mega Inferno Bomb to try and offer some damage back, but it's not going to be enough. Faker is just going to get taken out. Gen.G do find their man, and that is going to be out of turret picked up. The Ziggs just doing precisely what he wants to do. As no second charge, but still getting enough done. So, I mean, if you're ever going to put all your eggs in a basket, probably go with that one.
If it says Chovy on it, it's a pretty good basket.
Yeah, good basket. That one. As Nature's Grasp coming on in here, it's a big commitment. Mega Inferno Bomb onto said Chovy, but he isn't going to get taken down just yet. Now the paranoia, now the re-engage, and Doran is just dead. Still these health bars from Gen.G are so low. Canyon having to get himself out of there, and Owner Ona just spins on top of this Rakan. Canyon somehow lives for so incredibly long. Gumayusi is so healthy as well. Somehow, it's a Gen.G advantage in the fight, but it's T1 that get on top of this dragon.
I think they're thinking better of it though, Faker.
Oh, the fear does come on through still. Faker not going to die to one combo, but isn't going to be able to take the dragon.
Gen.G do have control over it now.
A bit of damage there coming out from Ruler, but not too much more is going to come of this. The other one has been started.
And he's just going to buy an item before he goes in.
Yeah, Redemption coming on through. That is going to give them the information that this has been taken, as there are a lot of presents, but they're not being woken up as Chovy off to the side. Faker comes on in, there's the paranoia. They're looking to try and turn this. Chovy lands the ult, gets in there, and both of the carries just get destroyed as Lilia and Yone go down. Doran tries to get out, but now Carrier not going to be so lucky. Feats of strength come in as well for Gen.G as they take the Otacon, and that looked like a much better fight for them.
Yeah, much better fight for them. We don't know what soul it's going to be. It's an Ornn again with Mountain Soul. Another Mountain Soul game here for Gen.G, and
Canyon, who does take a little bit of a nap, but not hit by the sweet spot of that one. Redemption does come on down here as Paranoia coming on through yet again. Ruler finding the angles there, and Chovy connects so many ultis. There's the fear onto Faker. He's unable to actually make his way forward as Duro not going to finish off Doran, who is on his last legs in this fight. The ulti from Faker comes through, but it's onto Keen, and he's basically immortal on this Ornn. Ona still able to get some work done, though, as now he's spinning around this battle. Keen just headbutts Doran to get him out of there, and Canyon and Chovy, the last men standing on their side, whereas it's Gumayusi Ona holding down the fort for T1. Another very even team fight in this game.
They have the zoning, they have the range to back this up. The vision isn't lasting forever here as Gen.G takes that away from them. How much poke can they land before Gen.G start this dragon up is the real question. Keen?
Yeah, how good is this sleep going to be as well? There's a knock-up and Carrier just dies! Mega and Photobomb also not able to do anything! As Gen.G, they did push the Paranoia button, but now the Redemption comes down. They're basically full health, and the ulti connects onto Guma! He gets feared, and you can understand why he's scared, because this Gen.G are on the warpath in this game! Faker gets over the wall, but Chovy is lurking, and he will be able to finish off the Yone. The resets come on in, he finds the ult, he finds the Q, and there's the double kill for the Vex. Gen.G, they take the soul, and now they're looking for Baron.
Maybe the winning moment here for Gen.G in this series. His owner looks for a trap here, tries to put those health bars low, tries to dissuade them from doing a Baron, but he's got no flash and no chance of stopping Gen.G from taking this one down. They give him no entry, no angle, and Gen.G might have just done it. It's only a 3,000 gold lead, but with this comp, this dive comp from Gen.G, the unique Vex, this comp, it looks like they were saving just for a situation like this. They didn't necessarily want to show it today in this series, but they bring it out.
Ulti just barely missing on Aguma there, who does have a fair bit of wave clear, but unfortunately against Baroned up minions, the Ziggs loses a whole lot of that power. Wow. This is what happens when Gen.G are firing on all cylinders. As the train has left the station, there's the knock-up onto Carrier. This tree not lasting very long. The knock-up immediately afterwards onto Doran as well, as Keen manages to find that angle, and now Chovy is lurking, looking for the ulti. This time he connects it. The ult from Faker to try and pick him up though, but unfortunately, these wallets be heavy. And down goes the Ziggs with no response.
Looks like Gen.G might have their opportunity for revenge on KT and potentially then revenge on Hanwha for the summer finals in 2024. One last opportunity to defend for T1.
Bit of a faceplant here from Keen, but we'll see whether they actually have the damage to take him down. I don't even think Nexus turrets are really doing anything to this on. First Nexus turret will be taken out as T1 clearing out the wave. And with everyone respawning and some lower health bars, it looks like Gen.G are trying to get themselves out of there. Faker going forward, though, looking for an angle. Bowling balls connecting, as Ona doesn't quite have the lilting lullaby, and it's a flank TP angle from a Ziggs. Chovy is going to find him, but this health bar is so... Oh my god, he just died in an instant! He walked around a corner, and just Chovy went boo! And he's dead!
And that's the end of it!
Oh my god, Faker is now taking so much damage. The train drives on through there. They're getting the fears. Ona's going to be taken down, and the Nexus will follow. Gen.G will avoid the play-ins, and you will see the MSI defending champs at the Inspire Arena for a rematch against KT.
Has a path to the finals. And this is going to be an incredible end to a year of LCK, Atlas.
Oh, yeah.
For T1, this series was theirs for the taking. They were so close to a 3-0. They earned them 5th stars on those jerseys. That sometimes hardship right before Worlds is a sign of
just how impactful the KT upset was going to be, nor if they want to make sure that they can get to that LCK final, because they need to go through KT before they get there, and they didn't have a great time.
Who you got for POM, Atlas?
Well, if it was POG, it would be very easy in this game. But who do I have for POM? I have no Duro. It's Duro. There's no question.
I locked in the Duro vote.
Okay, good.
The final Ballpark Day, Justice for Supports. Duro's phenomenal performances in the last 2 games. I had to vote for him. I wanted to consider a Keen vote, a Ruler vote. But
I don't know how I even thought about it. I saw the big boom boom line, and I was like, I had the Chijijik brain, you know? I was just like, oh, it's got to be Chovy.
It might be Chovy for voters who aren't sure and they watch this game 5 and look,
I think
that was the man of the
vote.
series when you win the. I don't even think I'm mad if Chovy gets it, and he does.
Okay, never you mind.
He also had a phenomenal Galio game in game 1 to help them turn that game around. I think on the Cassiopeia was fed a lot of kills by his support player.
Oh, I think the Cassio game was pretty outstanding.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Dear for the full team interview with Gen.G, who just took a 3-2 victory and will be in Spire Arena bound. And please welcome Keen, Canyon, Chovy, Ruler, Duro, and head coach Kim. Keen, you just beat T1 and booked a spot in the lower finals. How do you feel? How did you feel about when you broke the Nexus in Game 5? Honestly, it was such a struggle, and we actually went through so much to get to this point to break the Nexus. And since the last KT series, what did you review and fix? I think we had lost pretty much all of our team fights, so I think the team fighting and draft were basically our own focus. You know, after stealing back Game 1, you dropped the next 2 games, but Game 4 and 5 looked very good. So how did you stay locked in? You know, getting to Game 4, and then we just historically have been able to close out these long series well, so I think we just tried to stay focused until the very end, and we knew that we would be able to pull it off. How happy are you with your performance today? I don't think I was very clean. I don't think I was playing too well, so I think I was just pretty much average today. And you will head over to Inspire Arena to face KT again. So, what is your mindset for the payback? Now, last time, we lost 3-2 actually, and next time we meet them, I will get my revenge. Next up, we have Canyon. A 3-2 victory to get you to the lower finals. How do you feel? You know, winning always feels great. And I'm just really happy that we're able to continue our run. We have to talk about your Kiana pick. It feels like whenever Kiana shows up on stage, it just doesn't go well. So what is your read on her? Kiana is actually pretty decent in this current meta. And that is my overall read on her. So do you think you can utilize her in the future? Yeah, she has a lot of her own strengths. So I feel like, yeah, I definitely can find some angles to use her in the future. And in Game 4, your Skarner was terrifying, and that synergy with Blurt was actually pretty big. So did you expect that smooth of a sailing? You know, rather than thinking that it was going to go well, I think that was just a pick that we went ahead just based on how the draft was going, and that's just how it played out in the end. And you will meet KT in the lower finals, so what is your mindset? You know, it left a lot of regret our last match against KT, so we'll make sure that we are prepared well this time around so that we can have a great performance. Thank you for that, Canyon. And next up, Chovy. You went full distance to advance to the lower finals, and you got POM. So how do you feel? Now it feels great to win today, and getting the POM. Don't really have much thoughts over that. It's always a 5-game series against T1. So what were your key prep points for today's match? Rather than having a set key prep point, I think we just try to make sure that we can play well. And in game, we just really try to pay attention for that objective control and macro. And in game 4, during your R5 pick, it looked like you were considering Kassadin, but you locked in Cassio instead, which had carried. So what was the reasoning? So just from the enemy's comp, it looked like they had very short range. And it was because we really wanted to pick a high damage output AP champion. So what about your game 5 Vex? It looked like the enemy's comp really had a good poke comp, so against Yone, Vex actually has a really good time laning. And I felt like Vex actually is quite useful especially in team fights, so that's why we ended up picking her. So you're off to Inspire Arena, so what mindset do you have? We'll make sure that we do well in this Inspire Arena to make it all the way to the finals. And Ruler! There was just so much on the line today, from deciding who gets 4th seed and who gets to go to the Inspire Arena. So what mindset did you play with today? Because there's really no safety net, I was a little worried, but we just tried to stay focused in our game. And you just reached the big 3,000 assists, so what are your thoughts? I reached 3,000 assists, which is kind of cool, and I just really started thinking about how I want to play even more, and I want to stay in the scene for a very long time. And in a win-loss-loss, win-win series win, what do you think was the turning point? I think in game 4 with Kalista and Blitz, how the game went well was pretty much our turning point. And what are your predictions for the rematch against KT? Back then, I feel like we had very low points, going all the way up to game 5. But this time around, we will keep our form to make sure that we defeat KT this time. And Duro, it was a lower bracket match with no safety net. So what was your mindset coming in today? Losing today meant that our season would be over. And I feel like because we had nothing else to lose, we had to put in our all and prepare well. And I think that's just really paid off in the end. And in game 4, you pulled out your blitz and hard carried. So, from the draft, were you sure that this pick would work? First of all, I think I just happen to be fond of all these grab and hook champions, and this is just something that I'm really familiar with. So this sort of picks are something that I'm always really confident with. So I felt really comfortable and great. Yeah, your hook accuracy is off the charts. And even the analysts, they actually mentioned that the claw machine ban is incoming. So what is your secret? I think I just have to predict the enemy's movement, but what's more important is that you need to be proficient with this champion. And I think I just have to have faith in myself when I play. And in game 5, in the early stage, you missed the cannon and your heart may have dropped right there. So what happened? In the League of Legends, the swap patch, it went from 3:30 to 3 minutes, and before 3 minutes I had to stand at the very outer turret, and I actually have to minimize the minion experience until game 3, and it looked like the experience was a little off, so I had to pause and I had to talk to the referee about that. So you stayed calm here and quietly hit level 6. You'll meet KT Roaster again at the lower finals, so how confident are you? Last time when we met KT, it left a lot of regrets, but we'll come back in a stronger form, so we'll make sure that we win no matter what. Lastly, let's talk to head coach Kim. You punched your ticket to Inspire Arena, so how do you think? How are you feeling? You know, it was a tough match, but I'm really glad that we were able to win. Going to Inspire Arena. You know, the only thought that I had today was that if we lose today, we can't get a revenge against KT. So I just really wanted to get a payback. You know, after game 4, you must have been quite nervous. So did you see it playing out as a back and forth series? How did you feel? You know, after game 4, we were talking with the coaching staff and we were just saying, you know, the players are really struggling, so we wanted to really make their lives a little more comfortable by giving them engaged champions. What would you like to say to your players then? You know, all year round they have been playing so well. I'm so thankful for them. And in the end, I hope that we are the ones who are smiling while lifting the trophy. Are you guys happy? Yes. So, against KT, what do you think will be the biggest key? While losing to KT and all the feedbacks, the takeaway was that, you know, we have to admit our loss and try to adjust our gameplay. So I feel like we just have to always be in the position where we're learning, and we will make all the necessary changes in order to win against them and get our revenge. You know, there are a lot of fans that are cheering for Gen.G, so any message to your fans? No, I'm just really grateful for all the support and all the fans who are cheering for us, and I hope that we get to all celebrate Gen.G lifting the trophy together. And that's the end of the interview with Gen.G, and back to the space. Thank you.